Waterproofing guarantees it with the industry's only money-back guarantee. Schedule your free inspection now.
Look at that beautiful face. That's Ember.
Yes.
She's here with Tish Gale-Marb, who of course is almost the face, it seems like, of Reflection Riding, the Chattanooga Nature Center. And you were telling me Ember looks so young, but she's
9.
That's crazy.
She's
to me.
9 years old. Yeah, and she's in the middle of molting. So her feathers are kind of crazy right now.
You know, Tish, you and I have been talking for so many years. You'd think I would run out of questions to ask you at this point, but it really is an amazing thing, and I kind of forget the stories of the animals each time you come.
Right.
But hers, you think, was a raccoon injury?
Right. She's missing about 2/3 of her right wing, and we think when she was on the nest as a very young bird, still with siblings, Mom and Dad probably had gone out to get food, and a raccoon came and was going to predate on the babies. And we think what happened is he either bit or grabbed her wing and pulled it, and she ended up on the ground with a badly injured wing, and it's not recoverable. There's no way to fix this type of injury. So she's no longer flighted. And if you're a bird and you can't fly, you're not going to survive.
Now, what kind of hawk is she?
She's a red-shouldered hawk.
Red-shouldered hawk. So, you know, there have been some stories in the news lately about hawks snatching animals. Would she be one that could potentially do that?
No, and I have
do you
to
have
say,
some skepticism?
I'm very skeptical about that story. If a hawk comes in and picks up anything, these massive talons are going to do damage. There are going to be puncture wounds.
And there were none
and there were none on that dog. So that's just my opinion, and I certainly don't know the whole story. But when they say a hawk got it, there's got to be some injury.
Right.
Yeah, and hawks are not strong enough to pick up things. Matter of fact, in y'all's parking lot here at Channel 3, I witnessed a red-tailed hawk kill a rabbit in your parking lot and could not get off the ground with it.
Really?
They don't have that kind of strength. Owls have more strength, but even then, a great horned owls only can be able to carry 3, maybe 4 pounds.
So when people, I did want to ask, because people are often fearful because they don't know.
Right.
So if you're living in suburban Chattanooga and you're afraid to let your dog out, maybe that's unnecessary worry?
Well, and what I tell everybody is a hawk could certainly come in and whop on your dog or your cat, but they're not most likely not going to be carrying it off unless you have a 2-pound Chihuahua. But they can still do damage and could still kill the animal.
Right.
But they're going to have a hard time dragging it off.
Okay.
And like that red-tailed, he couldn't get off the ground, so he began hopping with it, and he would hop up to one height and then hop up to another height. I watched all of that for like 5 minutes.
Okay, so now she's been here before, Ember has.
Yes.
This is the first time I can really remember her talking this much.
She's chirping
vocal
little.
today.
Yeah, she is. And you know, that's not uncommon for red shoulders. I tell everybody, if you've got a hawk that you're watching and it's constantly chattering, it's most likely a red-shouldered hawk. They're very, very vocal. In the studio, she's probably not so much so, but outside, she's real vocal.
Well, so the fact that she's being vocal today and chirping, is that a sign of her being comfortable?
She's comfortable. Yeah,
Okay.
she's comfortable. And then they'll do something called rousting also, and she'll wiggle her tail and fluff up her feathers, and that's a sign of real comfort.
So it's one thing for you to bring her to us and to let our cameras zoom in close, which is great. But for people to come to you and see is entirely different.
It's
And you said
amazing.
summer is just almost like time stands still on the property.
It's really incredible, you know, and we do so many programs on Fridays and Saturdays with our birds and other animals that we have. It's just a great time to come out and really see these animals up close. It's really remarkable because normally you're looking at them in the sky or they're on a tree limb, and you're not just a couple feet from them.
Right.
And you can observe their beauty and their structure and really get just an incredible appreciation for this animal.
Yeah, I mean, as much as that camera right now is able to show you her colorings, it's really nothing like it is when it's up close. And the depth, like you just want to touch her. You can't. She will not let you.
She will not.
But her feathers are probably a good inch thick?
Maybe, yeah. One of my owls will let me take my finger and stick it down in her feathers, and it'll go up to about half the length of my finger.
Yeah.
She's not going to be quite that dense, but still. This big bird right here, coming in at about 1 pound.
That's how light she is.
1 pound.
Wow.
So it's thousands and thousands of feathers, and then bird bones are not hollow. They're what I call essentially hollow. So I always tell everybody, grab a straw, grab a spider web, stick the spider web in the straw. That creates all those pockets in there. That's what their bones are like. Little individual pockets in there, and they're actually pneumatic. There's air in those pockets. So the bones are very, very strong, but they're very lightweight.
That's what allows them to fly.
Yep.
So, as great as it is to go with your family or your date or whatever and go to reflection writing, you still have some time for camp?
We have
slots?
camp openings. I couldn't believe it. I went in yesterday and said, what's going on with camp? And they said, we have a few openings left. And
wow.
So if you've got a child that's driving you crazy,
right.
send them to our camp. Yeah. They're outside all the time. Camp this year has a whole bunch of new themes. They're doing really fun stuff. And this is where your child is outside exploring nature, and they're learning without even realizing they're learning.
And I'm looking at the forecast too, we all are. I know there's a 70% chance of rain tomorrow, but there will be a break in the action at some point.
Yes.
Y'all are having a bike day?
Yeah, Outdoor Chattanooga. We often do things with Outdoor Chattanooga, and they're doing a bike day on the property tomorrow. So bring your bike and come go for a bike ride, a guided bike ride with Outdoor Chat. It's a great way to see the property.
Tish said that Ember and these red-shouldered hawks are kind of the diva of the forest.
Very much so.
But she was very cooperative today.
She's been in a good mood today, thank goodness.
You can keep on chirping. So here's where you can go to learn more always, reflectionwriting.org. And by the way, there's no cost to go to Reflection Writing. They would love it if you wanted to make a donation while you're there, but their main mission is to welcome you into nature and let you appreciate it too.
100%.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I was traveling on Cloud Springs Road, and a lady did not yield at the intersection, so we hit head on. Some friends recommended Jay and Brent to me, so I reached out and gave them a call. I would definitely recommend Jay and Brent.
Call us. It's just that easy.
Dupixent helps people with asthma breathe better. So